Welcome back to school. I hope you all had such a great and fun weekend. For our math lesson today, we are just going to be completing a short activity just to ease back into the week. So this whole week and next week, we are going to be reviewing everything that we learned in topic 5. So during our review time, if we come across something that you're kind of confused about or have any questions, please just let me know and I'll be able to help you out. So let's get started. In our Envisions Volume 1 workbook, I'm going to have you turn to page 210. So I'm circling that page number down in the bottom left corner. We are going to be completing a Review What You Know to start off our topic 5 review. So again, we're on page 210. So if you need to take a second to pause the video and go grab your workbook, you can go ahead and do that now. All right, so on this quick review today, we only have about 6 questions to work through. So let's start with number 1. So if you see, this header is called vocabulary. So in problems 1, 2, and 3, there are some bolded letters. So we are going to be solving some questions that involve the vocabulary we used. So a good example of that is in number 1, the word addends is bolded. When you are looking at an equation, the addends are the numbers in the equation that you are adding in the equation. That's why they have the word add in it, addends. So in this equation, 4 plus 5 equals 9. Which 2 addends are in this equation? So it says circle the addends. So remember that addends are the numbers that are being added in an equation. So which 2 numbers would you circle? Go ahead and circle those 2 numbers in this equation. So on number 2 and 3, we are going to be talking about fact families and also related facts. So at the top of the page, I just made this quick little chart because I just wanted to go over what were fact families and what were related facts. So I drew 4 equations up here on the top. So I have 6 plus 4 equals 10, 4 plus 6 equals 10, 10 minus 4 equals 6, and 10 minus 6 equals 4. Do you notice anything about all 4 of these equations? Do you notice something that they all have in common? All of these equations have the same 3 numbers. All of the equations have a 6, have a 4, and have a 10. This is called a fact family. The 3 numbers that represent the equations make up the fact family. Now, a related fact shows the same fact family, but just in a different way. So, for example, 6 plus 4 equals 10 is related to 10 minus 4 equals 6. Both numbers are in the same fact family, even though they look a little bit different. That's why they're called a related fact. So let's look at problem 2 and problem 3. On problem 2, it says circle the equation that is a related fact for 10 minus 8 equals 2. So we have the 2 equations. 8 minus 6 equals 2, and 8 plus 2 equals 10. Now, which one of these equations is related to 10 minus 8 equals 2? Look closely at these two equations. Which of these equations is related to 10 minus 8 equals 2? This means that the equation below will have the same three numbers as our equation here. So you will circle which equation is related to 10 minus 8 equals 2. Number 3 says, circle the number that will complete the fact family. Now remember, in a fact family, all three numbers in all of the equations are exactly the same. So when we look at these equations, we see that all of the equations have a 3, have a 10, and then a missing number. So our choices are, is the missing number 8, 14, 7, or 5? So since we are working with a fact family, whichever number you choose must fit in every blank with a question mark. So if you choose 8 as your missing number, check and see. Does 3 plus 8 equal 10? Does 8 plus 3 equal 10? Does 10 minus 3 equal 8? And does 10 minus 8 equal 3? So whichever number you circle down below, you have to make sure that it can work in every single blank in the equation. So you can pause the video at any time to be working on these problems. Number 3 might take a few minutes if you're trying to plug in all your answers to make sure they match the fact family. For numbers 4, 5, it says that you can use cubes to solve. So if you don't have cubes at home, that's okay. You can also use counters, coins, or even just draw circles on your paper. So it says, write the subtraction equation. So for number 4 and number 5, we are writing two subtraction equations. On number 4, it says 8 squirrels are on the ground. 5 are eating acorns. How many squirrels are not eating acorns? Notice how the word not is bolded and in all capital letters, so they want to make sure you know that. So we need to write a subtraction equation for this story problem. So it says 8 squirrels are on the ground. 5 are eating acorns. How many squirrels are not eating acorns? So in this equation, we have the numbers 8 and 5. To find out how many squirrels are not eating acorns, we would need to subtract the number of squirrels that are eating acorns from the total number of squirrels on the ground. So for number 4, you are going to write and solve the subtraction equation using the numbers in our story problem. We will do the same for number 5. On number 5, it says that Brett has 5 markers. Pablo has 3 markers. How many more markers does Brett have than Pablo? So on this equation, we are working with the 5 markers that Brett has and the 3 markers that Pablo has. It says, how many more markers does Brett have than Pablo. So we need to use our information from our story to subtract and solve. So we have the numbers 5 and 3. We want to know how many more markers does Brett have than Pablo. And last, on number 6, it says write the related subtraction facts. Now on number 6, our equation is written a little bit out of order. So instead of saying, like on number 2, 10 minus 8 equals 2 and having the equal sign at the end, this has it at the beginning. But that's okay, it's still the same, just looks a little bit different. So this has 9 equals 4 plus 5. So it's just flipped around. It's the same as saying 5 plus 4 equals 9. So we have to write the related subtraction facts. Our total is 9. We know that 5 plus 4 equals 9. And we know that when we're subtracting, we want to subtract from the total number. So since it is set up a little bit differently, I'll help you with number 6. So since we are writing our equations a little bit backwards, so the equal sign is at the beginning, our total number is going to have to go right here in the middle, so that we can say 9 minus blank, 9 minus blank. Because when you read your equation after you solve it, you'll be reading your answer and saying that it's equal to 9 minus blank. Just like how we see here, this is telling us that 9 equals 4 plus 5, which it does. So we've already filled in the 9s for our totals, so we need to write 2 subtraction facts using the same numbers in our fact family. We could start with either of these numbers. Let's start with 4. We can say 9 minus 4, and we know that 9 minus 4 is equal to what number? 9 minus 4. 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So we're just writing this equation a little bit out of order. But look when we read it. It says 5 equals 9 minus 4, which we know is true. So for the second related fact, I want you to write another related fact using the numbers 4 and 5. So in this first problem, we said 5 equals 9 minus 4. So now, write the other related fact using the numbers 4 and 5. So use these blanks to write the number 4 and the number 5. All right, everyone. So if you are still working on solving your problems, you can go ahead and pause the video now, because now I would like to just go over our answers really quick. So again, if you're still working, just go ahead and pause the video. If you're all done, then let's go over our answers. So on number 1, we talked about we needed to circle the addends in the equation. The addends are the numbers in the equation that you are adding together. So in the equation, 4 plus 5 equals 9. Our 2 addends to circle would be 4 and 5. On number 2, the related fact to 10 minus 8 equals 2 is 8 plus 2 equals 10. These are related facts because both of these equations have a 10, an 8, and a 2. That makes them a related fact. On number 3, we had to circle the number that would complete this fact family. the number that we should have chose on number 3 would be 7. When you plug in 7 to each of these missing parts, every equation works out. 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. 10 minus 3 is equal to 7, and 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. On number 4, we had to write a subtraction problem for how many squirrels were not eating. If you take the total number of squirrels that are on the ground, which is 8, and you subtract them by how many squirrels are eating acorns, we would have 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. On number 5, we had to make a subtraction problem for how many more markers Brett had than Pablo. Brett had 5 markers, and Pablo had 3 markers. So we would subtract the total number of markers that Brett has and the total number of how many markers Pablo had. That would give us 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And on our last problem, number 6, we wrote the total number in the space together. And depending on if you solved it with me or not, we may have our answers in different spots, but that's okay. So, one of the related subtraction facts for 9 equals 4 plus 5 would be 9 minus 4 equals 5, and 9 minus 5 equals 4. So some of you may have these equations the other way around. What I mean by saying you might have 4 equals 9 minus 5 on top, and then 5 equals 9 minus 4 on bottom. That's okay. As long as you have both of these equations on your paper, you are all good to go. So these are our answers for our first review activity. If you have any questions, or if you're unsure of how we got one of our answers, please let me know and I'll be able to help clarify. Alright, so that is going to be the end of our math lesson today. Remember, we are reviewing all this week and next week on topic 5. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you later.